Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call to order the Baldwin Park Planning Commission for October 22nd, 2014. At this point, Mr. Woods, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Amy, roll call, please.
Commissioner Valenzuela?
Here.
Commissioner Padilla?
Here.
Here. Here.
Here. At this point, I would like to open public communications. Those wishing to speak on any agenda item, any item that is not on this agenda, please step forward, please state your name, and you have approximately 3 minutes to speak.
Mr. Tuttle, there will be a public hearing on this item, so that would be the appropriate time to... Yes, there's a public hearing. Oh, okay. Well, if you wish to speak on another matter, go ahead. Okay.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak on any item not on this agenda? I see no further interest. I now close public communication. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from October 8th, 2014. Any commissioners would like to amend or change any or address any of the items that were from the minutes? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
A motion.
Any objections? Seeing none, motion passes. Next agenda item, staff.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, Commissioners, the audience, this item before you is consideration of a chapter 153-115 from the city sets forth use regulations 153.5.030 applies to properties that have defined zoning IC and general commercial. Proposal applies to all properties within the boundaries of the Sierra Vista subareas 2 and development plan areas. Ordinance 1290 was originally adopted in August of 2006. It was eliminated. It was intended to facilitate of and revitalization of the downtown area. Since 2006, Ordinance 1290 was first to allow for a specific issues within the area. Second time in response to the 2008 recession. However, pursuant to council direction, staff conducted on Ordinance 1290. Our first meeting on June 3rd, we wanted to have a discussion, provide history, and about Ordinance 12. At the conclusion of the public meeting, staff indicated options regarding the future of 1290. Back those findings to a second community. Those options included keep 1290 as is, repeat 1290 in its entirety, or review the applicability of 1290 to define smaller areas within the overall boundary. So on August 4th, we held our second public meeting. We presented a summary of the three options, got input, and at the conclusion of the presentation, which were very very similar to those present at the first meeting, felt that 1290, number 1, had a bad stigma, 2, really no longer relevant, and 3, should be repealed. So after that, we went to the city council with our findings, and at that meeting, staff provided of the 2 meetings. Based on public input received, staff recommended the city council direct staff to move forward with the process to repeal 1290 and the amendments. Council concurred, and tonight's first public hearing is the first. So at this time, staff is recommending the Planning Commission open the public hearing. Following the public hearing, adopt a resolution titled "A Resolution of the Baldwin Park recommending the City Council adopt the next Declaration of Environmental Impact and elimination of Chapter 153.5 downtown overlay. Location all properties within the development plan of areas 2 and 3 of the Sierra Vista redevelopment. The applicant on this application is Baldwin Park, and the number is A-117. I did receive earlier today an email out of town, Mark Freitag, and he submitted part of this. So this will conclude staff's presentation.
Chair, may I make?
Yes, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to have it known that I do own a property in this area.
It's outside the boundary of the area, is that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And he has consulted me, and it fits into the exception that, number 1, it's outside of the area that's being affected, and number 2, it affects such a large number of residents and property owners that the Political Reform Act accepts that as an exception to recusing himself.
Do I get to stay?
Yes, you get to stay.
Yeah, it just, Mr. Woods' property is actually, it is within the boundary area, but it's like right on the edge.
Okay. Yeah. And what I wanted to add is that you have before you, you have 2 roles. You act as a judge with respect to conditional use permits and variances. You apply the facts to the existing law. Here you are acting in your legislative role, where you are in fact considering changing the law, which changing the zoning law. And only the city council can do this, so what you are doing in effect is recommending to the city council that they take an action or not. So that's your role today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And at this point, are there any commissioners wishing to speak to staff in regards to this item?
I would just like to say that it's been a long 8 years, and when I was with the group that was against 1290, we were all in favor of eliminating it, and we are all happy that it may come to pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. At this point, I would like to open public hearing on this item. Anyone wishing to speak, please step forward. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and your address.
Okay. Starting, this 1290, like Mr. Wood says, we've been fighting this since 2006. It has destroyed businesses coming into the town and wanting to be in the town. Just to give you, for instance, is 1290 what it did, eliminated auto repair, auto service stations, auto storage, dismantling, auto wash, check cashing, drive-through establishments, dry cleaning, fabrication plants, grocery stores over 10,000 square feet, machine shops because of me, office, professional, medical on the bottom floor, pawn shops, secondhand stores, upholstery, warehouse, water stores, and welding. Pretty well eliminates most of the businesses coming into town. So the way that they did this was because when Bisno was coming into town, they didn't want these businesses here. They wanted 5,000 condos here. And that wasn't suited for this city. And thank God it never got passed. So hopefully now the Planning Commission can get this out of here and we'll have the council vote on it, and then we can go on and start getting new businesses into town and start doing the way we should have been doing 6 years ago. So, in my opinion, I think this should be voted on unanimously and get it through and tell the council we want this out of here so we can start building the businesses back up in the city. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Council, Commissioners. I'm Mr. Luna. I have been telling the City Council, I'm pretty sure if you people have been there, you've heard me say, the gentleman in front of me right now, or finished, he said that get these businesses back here. And I'll say to you people, what I've been telling the City Council, we need revenue. That way we can have our 4th of July walk we have from here all the way down to Target and so on, and do all this business like a city should do. You commissioners have the right to push the City Council into doing things like, what is it, 1290 or whatever this amendment is. It should be taken out and get these cities back, these businesses back into Baldwin Park. I drove around here not too long ago, and there's more empty buildings than they're being occupied. And I missed the commercial end of the Baldwin Park. But we have businesses along the freeway that are just sitting there empty. The lots are empty. I understand these people don't want to sell their property because they want to make a big retirement fund out of it. But it's still, we need to get this freeway corridor back in business. Caltrans took over some homes and some businesses and so on. I know we don't have that kind of funds, but I think we can push the City Council into finding ways so that we can get that corridor built back up and not put in a hotel. If you want to do something like Courtyard, that'd be different, but there's one down the street. Why would you want one right here? But you need to get these businesses back into Baldwin Park. I keep telling the City Council, and they just, yeah, but that's as far as it goes. That is our commission to get our taxes down a little bit. The mayor recommends that he says, I won't let this city go bankrupt. Well, he's not the city. City is 75,000 people that live here. And you folks are part of that city. So why would you want the mayor to raise taxes when you tell yourself, here we're trying to get businesses back in here so they can help us with our tax stuff, and these people, are giving the city away. One of them wanted to give part of the land away. Don't give it away. Give it away with an option that if you stay would lower your taxes. That is what you should be doing, and pushing the council to do that.
Mr. Luna, your time's up.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Luna.
John Rios, residents. This 1290 is being on a little torn on a lot of businesses around. A lot of businesses that wanted to come into Baldwin Park. When they saw that, they went to Sousa, they went to Guardia, they went any place else out there in Baldwin Park. There was a little pain that the city was taking. We were suffering because somebody up there thought that we're going to take care of it. We're not. We're not going to let things go. We want more businesses into Baldwin Park. Like Mr. Luna says, there's a lot of empty buildings around the city, empty lots. If the 1290 is taken away from the books, I would say within 2 years, 3 years, we will get around, I would say from 20 to 50 businesses back in. That's something that you guys have to recommend to the city council, get it out of the way. Let's go back the way we were. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak on this agenda item? Seeing no further interest, I will now close public hearing. At this point, are there any commissioners wishing to, again, speak to the staff on this item?
I had two business people that, one is Cosales Auto Repair, has a business over on Garvey. He was to open another business up in this area, the particular area we're worried about, and he was turned down by the planning because it didn't fit the language, and you cannot have they told him you can sell auto parts, but you can't open a service part. And that's one person. The next person that approached me was the person that is right on San Bernardino. It's fabricating, metal fabricating. He's been getting a rough time, and he don't know whether to stay. She's a female, owns the business. She doesn't know whether to stay or sell the business because there's a lot of pressure for things she wants to do, like welding and so forth. And then this person that approached me was a person that is right next to the historical building, which is a railroad or the old railroad station that was there. The person that owns that business right there, he's thinking of selling too because unless we resolve this, and he says he can't do anything, he can't, they will give no permits. So there's three people right there that have approached me since this came up. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else, any other commissioner wishing to speak on this item?
I have a quick question. Okay, so for the AB 1290, would that mean that they want to completely eliminate the entire thing, or maybe consider looking at rezoning certain areas or eliminating some of the zones in the area for 1290?
Actually, take a chapter out of the code.
Eliminate it completely.
Right, eliminate it completely. So then, those properties, area that are zoned industrial commercial, we would go look under industrial commercial section of the code, and then those uses there accordingly. And when you had 1290 was actually another layer on top of the base. So what this is doing, what staff is recommending, thing on top of it.
Okay.
Sorry. A question. With the ordinance 1306 and 1307, will those also be eliminated from 1290, or how can you?
We just call it 1290 because it's just stuck. 1306 and 1337 added to 1290. So what we're doing is we're taking the entire chapter, which includes all three of those ordinances.
Thank you. That's what I needed.
Any other questions? Seeing none. At this point, I will accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be the one to make the motion.
I'll second it. And that's to adopt PC 14-19.
Yes.
And we have a second.
Yes.
Any objections? Seeing none, motion passes.
So this passes 5-0 and will be forwarded to the City Council for consideration.
Thank you. Next agenda item.
Sharing commission. Order for some.
Amy, someone said they couldn't hear you.
The next item is the monthly report for September 2014 of the Planning Commission. We have been busy, and I was asking if the commissioners had any questions.
Okay, do any of the commissioners have any questions for Amy in regards to the staffing report?
No.
No?
Amy, we haven't received responses back yet.
No, we have not. Irwindale is. We'll just turn it off, Jerry. Irwindale said that prior to hearing body making the. However, also been packets that come tomorrow for the have all the responses to that information tomorrow. Irwindale. I will keep you posted. You are always more than welcome to it.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Could you repeat the dates on the Athens services, item number 4?
Yes, it is scheduled, item, they're scheduled to, and city,
Do we know why it's going to the city council first? Typically, you go to the planning commission first, yeah.
yeah.
All right, any further questions? Seeing none. At this point, I will take a motion for adjournment.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any objections? Seeing none, meeting is adjourned.